welcome back to the Slob Sisters podcast. I'm Steph, and I'm here with my sister, Jill.
Hey everyone, welcome to our 4th episode. We're loving doing this and happy to be back this week with another episode.
Yeah, it's been so much fun so far. I mean, this project was a long time coming, but I've had so much fun doing it, and it's actually taking off. So if you are new today to our podcast, or you haven't yet, please make sure to hit subscribe wherever you're listening to the podcast and leave us a comment and a rating. It really helps us kind of get a feel for this and know what we should be talking about next.
Absolutely. And another thing to note is you can also listen on Steph's YouTube channel, The Secret Slob. She's been posting the episodes there as well.
Yeah. Yes, I have. And it's been really fun, just kind of a bit of a crossover. All right. We wanted to start every episode with a little bit of progress. So Jill, what progress did you make this week?
Well, mine is something I'm really proud of. I got all of my stuff to do my taxes together, which to the average person doesn't seem like a very big task. And let me be clear, I don't do my own taxes. I only have to collect the papers I need to give to the guy who does my taxes.
Right.
But that alone is generally too hard for me, and I'm always behind. But I'm on the ball this year. I got it all together, and I feel such a weight off my shoulders. I usually start stressing out around mid-April when I have nothing together, and I am ready, and my tax guy is probably gonna be in shock when he calls me, and I'm gonna say, yep, I'm ready when you are. So that was my progress for this week. Super happy about it. What did you get done this week?
Yeah, your tax guy probably isn't even working yet. He probably just starts working April 20th, right? Because our tax deadline is April 30th, right?
Yeah,
no, it's crazy that day.
He's going to be really happy to get this done and over with before the rush of everyone who's procrastinating comes through. So,
oh, good for you. I'm proud of you. This week, my progress was my daughter's, the two girls' bedroom. I've been doing their bedroom in a rainbow room theme, and I've
been watching your progress on Instagram. It's awesome.
And it has been so much fun. And I never realized, but I kind of, as I've been going through this, I sat down and thought, I've never done a full room makeover. I've certainly never done a full theme room. I've gotten new bedding and painted a room before, but this is a full total makeover, and it is so much fun. I am definitely looking forward to doing our son's bedroom and then our bedroom, and then probably start trickling that out into the rest of the house. But yeah, it's been an absolute blast. They love it, and it just is so happy.
That's so awesome. And it's definitely one of those things that, sometimes you can start these projects and it just kind of, the excitement definitely wears away. I know when we were talking on the phone the other day, you were saying, I'm really excited for this to end because I want to see it, and because you're excited for it to just, it's a lot of work too. So good for you for sticking it out and finishing the project. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yes, lots of progress made this week. My house has suffered as a result, but focusing on what I did do. Okay, so today's podcast is kind of a different topic from homemaking, but something that affects everyone. And so I wanted to quickly up front give a quick little trigger warning. We are going to talk about healthy eating, diets, exercise, and body image in this episode. So if this is something that triggers you, please proceed with caution, but we're going to try to keep it really light. But just if this is something that might affect you, please consider not listening to this particular episode. Okay, so I kind of gave it away there. The episode is about healthy living and how the heck do you fit all that in when we're already so busy.
Absolutely. It's definitely one of those things that I think everybody wants to do better at. And, come January, we're always looking at ways of improving our health and fitness, lifestyle. So
yeah. And this year, both of us kind of set goals for ourselves. We did our 22 for 2022, and both of us had kind of health focused goals this year. Yeah.
Your goal word, or your word of the year, is vitality, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so everything kind of around,
that.
Yeah, and mine was nature, and it was just kind of getting outside more and, doing things more for myself and for my family versus, less not that I'm not focused on my job, but, getting outside more and enjoying that kind of aspect, which I think goes hand in hand with living a healthy life. So
definitely. And mine, like you said, is vitality. And it was 100% triggered by, in the fall, I threw my back out and then I threw my neck out, and I just felt awful. And I thought, I cannot be breaking down already. I have 3 little kids I have to chase after. I'm only 37. I'm not ready to be falling apart yet. So I was I'm throwing everything I have at my body to try and get back to a place of health and wellness and just feeling like I could stand up without crippling over.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because you say your back hurt and so you need to get a health regime going. Whereas I think before when we were younger, it was definitely like, oh, I'm feeling like I'm gaining weight. I need to, start eating healthier, working out more. Whereas now I think I can speak for both of us when I say it's more about just feeling better and, being able to be more physically active with our kids and in our lives and not injuring ourselves because
right. Oh.
I'm sitting here like 10 minutes after the chiropractor right now with like tape on my back and, it's hard aging a little bit and not everything being as easy as it used to be. So.
Oh, definitely. Like I don't even care what I look like in a bikini. Well, for two reasons. One, I do love my body a lot more than I did when I was younger, sadly. But two, I just don't care. And all I really want now is to be able to pick my 2-year-old up and maybe make a slight turn and then put him down somewhere else without feeling completely incapable. So yeah, the word is vitality and it's definitely changed. So let's talk about your current health goals. And I also want to know kind of, how they've changed over time since you were, 18, 19, 20?
Absolutely. So I know you and I, we were gifted the rectangular shaped body. We have not a single curve on us. We are very straight, from the shoulders down. And I always kind of struggled with that. I didn't have a waistline. And when I was younger, all I cared about was how thin I was. And that was my main reason for exercising, for eating better. The main goal was I want to be skinnier. And that's really unfortunate. I mean, this might sound a bit weird, but I definitely had moments when I tried to have an eating disorder, but I never actually did. I failed at that because no one's ever accused me of not eating enough. I have a very healthy appetite. I always have. But I feel like it's not just as unhealthy, but or also unhealthy to want to have an eating disorder, even if I couldn't follow through with it because I'm just too hungry of a person.
And I should not laugh. It's not funny. I mean, it's very serious, but yeah.
Absolutely. But yes, I tried to stop eating numerous times over in my, young 20s and in my late teens. And, it lasted a couple hours until I got too hungry and that just went out the window. So basically how it's changed now is I'm really focusing on being strong, and I think that that's changing for young girls too. And maybe I'm off base here, but when I go to the gym, I don't see women just on the elliptical and the treadmill for like an hour. I see them lifting weights. I see them lifting the same weights that they're with their boyfriends doing. And I think that's awesome. I think that kind of being as skinny as you can thing is kind of going away.
Definitely.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
I think
as a fellow rectangularly shaped person, I mean, the 90s was it for me. The clothes fit. I mean, I was skinny, and I was a rectangle and everything, the style was exactly me. Now it's like, making gains and having curves, and I just don't have that. I mean, there are jeans I put on, and I swear there's like room for 2 balloons in the back that just... I just can't do it.
You have to take them to the seamstress. Take this in the back, please.
Yes, exactly. But I totally agree with you. I mean, when I was younger and I was always quite thin, I always just thought I looked, fat, and it was just awful because you look back and you're like, oh my goodness, I was nowhere near fat. And we can't go back, but I wish I could tell my younger self, like, hey, love your body. You were thin, but even if you were fat or if you were curvy or muscular or anything, just love your body and love what it does for you. My body, serves me so well every single day. So that's definitely been a shift for me and I think this is this strength thing and this vitality and this limberness that I'm looking for is the shift from how I specifically look to how I feel.
Yeah, and how you can function in everyday life. And I think for both of us, and we've talked about this before, is one of my goals in terms of health and fitness actually doesn't involve going to the gym or eating better. It's actually just a mindset of loving my body, whatever size and shape it is, and appreciating it and forgiving myself for not being perfect all the time. And so that's not something I need to practice at the gym or, in the kitchen. That's something I need to practice, mentally and emotionally, is just loving myself And, yes, I want to feed my body well and I want to stay physically active, but I also want to appreciate myself and kind of move through my day happy with who I am. And that's something I still have to work on.
Yeah, I love that so much. And really that change and shift in focus is so important. And I think really the most important thing we can do is make that shift as soon in our lives as possible. Don't you think?
Absolutely. And it's funny also, I just wanted to kind of say this. I was thinking about this the other day when we mentioned we were going to do this topic. Remember last summer I read that book, and I can't recall the actual book, but it was all about self-love and loving your body for its shape and its size and appreciating yourself. And I read this book and I was going to recommend it to my book club girls, my friends, but it was all about throw diets out the window. You don't need to work out every day. You don't need to do this. And I kind of let myself go after that completely. And I was like, yeah, I don't need to work out and I don't need to eat well. But I think it's still important for us to also remember to, as we appreciate our bodies, feed it what, is best for it. And, exercising is good. So I thought I never ended up recommending it to my book club girls because I think I gained 15 or 20 pounds after that book because I just totally kind of stopped all my healthy living stuff, which I think was good in a way that I was, loving my body. But at the same time, there's still a bit of a balance there.
So you felt like you weren't taking care of yourself. And I think maybe what the book intended, or maybe the intended message is throw diet books and throw your exercise stuff and don't worry about your eating out the window, because it really needs to be more of a complete lifestyle switch, so it doesn't feel like you're always on a diet, or it doesn't feel like you're having to drag yourself out of the house to go to the gym, right? Like you're not always forcing this on yourself. It's not always sitting there in the back of your mind. You're not focused on it 100%. You're not standing anywhere and feeling like tight in your clothes or uncomfortable, or like people are looking at you, or just feeling self-conscious.
Yeah, it's taking away that obsession, which I think for sure is extremely important, but also still, maintaining that to love your body is to be kind to your body. And after a few months after reading that book and kind of throwing everything I was doing, the fitness and the health out the window, I didn't feel good. And that's when I knew, hey, even though I'm feeling better about loving my body, I just don't feel good. So
right. Yeah, and that comes right back to how you feel versus how you look.
Absolutely. So
it's interesting too that you brought up throwing diet books away, because I wanted to bring up the topic of, you have a daughter and I have 2 daughters, and I think how we are kind of modeling our diet culture behavior in our own homes. They're not going to escape it on social media and in the media. It's everywhere. But how you model it in your home and how you, as their mother in particular, models it, I think is so important. And then it's funny you bring up throwing them away, because about 5 years ago, I was doing some decluttering, as I do, and I was going through my books and I had some diet books. And I looked at them and I put them back on the shelf because I liked them. They had some good recipes. And then I just took a second thought and said, what am I doing? Why are these in my house? I have a daughter. I only had one at the time. And I don't ever want her to even think that I don't like my body, or I don't think her body's good enough, or that she shouldn't think her body is good enough. And I threw them all away in the garbage. Even the ones that were just healthy living cookbook. I was like, you don't need to be a part of our house and life. She's going to get enough of it. So I try really hard in my house now to not talk about weight in a derogatory way or how they look in terms of their weight. It's just how you feel. Oh, are you feeling strong? Do you feel healthy? We eat this because it's healthy and it helps us grow. Nothing about fat or anything like that.
Absolutely. I agree. When my daughter says, why are you going to the gym? I say, because I want to be healthy and I want to be able to play with you and run around. And so it's important for me. And an interesting thing is, I don't know, you've watched Encanto, and I'm sure anybody who's listening who has kids has probably watched Encanto more than once.
Yes.
I love Encanto. I will say that. I think it's awesome. But I heard, and I don't think you told me this. I heard that the Louisa character in Encanto, who, if you haven't seen it, she's a woman, a young woman, and she's got the gift of being really strong, and she's quite big. She's tall, and she's just got these huge muscles. And apparently, there was a lot of pushback on this character when they were making the film, because they didn't think that this character would catch on with with kids because, normally it's a young, thin character,
right. The
like
Disney
female character.
stereotype, large eyes,
Exactly.
waif-like arms, tiny little waist, 16 years old.
And I think it's awesome that they carried through and went with Louisa as, basically a female version of Hercules is what she is. And she's my daughter's favorite. And my daughter walks around and she'll lift up large items and she'll be like, I'm Louisa. And I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. Like, I think that's awesome.
Yes, I love Louisa, and she is one of my girls' favorite characters too. And we always listen to the song and they lift things up and they're showing me their muscles. And it's funny that you mentioned your daughter asking you why to go to the gym, because I do work out at home, and sometimes my girls will sit there and watch me, and sometimes they do the workout with me, and they have these like little 2-pound weights they'll do it with. And they always say like, why do you always want to work out? Is it because you want to be able to lift us up when we're dancing? Because they love when I lift them up when we dance. And like, but I mean, it's exhausting because like they're like 40 and 50 pounds now. And so then I put them down. They're like, you need to do more workouts so you can lift us for longer. And I'm like, yes, this is the message we need to be sending to girls about health and fitness. You want to be able to dance all night and do all the fun moves. So let's make sure that we're staying strong and staying healthy. Okay, so speaking of dancing as a workout, so you said right now you're working out at the gym and you're doing weightlifting, and that's like a new thing for you, right?
Yeah, so I've been doing kickboxing for 2 years, and then recently, around Christmas time, I switched to doing some heavier weightlifting, which I'm really liking. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. It's a little tight to fit in with my schedule, but I'm making it a priority. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
But you've been enjoying it.
I love it. It's my me time. It's, I can listen to music and I do it. And I feel good after. I feel more energized and, all those things that I used to, when our mom used to say, I have more energy when I work out. It's like, I don't buy that. But, it's actually true. I feel like I'm less tired if I'm exercising regularly.
Oh, for sure. And I don't know how candid you want to be about this, but one thing you could share about working out and doing this weightlifting, which is new for you, is that my sister, Jill, you're actually very predisposition to be very strong. You are incredibly strong. Like you as a base have some serious muscle. Haven't you been recruited for like multiple different try this Olympic sport teams and things like that? Like you have this very athletic body. So this, and I know you had been avoiding weightlifting because you said you were focused on being so skinny, and then you thought, okay, I'm going to embrace this natural, obvious kind of inclination I have. And suddenly you're just finding something great in it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's fun doing something that you're good at. And like you said, being strong is always kind of something I've had, which I used to not like because I've always also been a lot heavier than a lot of my friends, even though we looked similar. And so I really don't pay attention to that number anymore because I realize that doesn't play much importance. But now I'm kind of trying to see, what is my body capable of? Like how, now I've always known I'm strong. Let me like see what I can do. And it's really fun to just have that. And I'm not really doing it for anybody else but myself, I'm not trying to like look a certain way. I'm there to see, I want to lift some weight and I want to get stronger, and I'm enjoying it because it's for me. And I think I'm being successful because that's why. I'm not doing it for other people. I'm not doing it for my husband or my friends who'll see my body change. It's purely for me.
Yeah. No, I can totally appreciate that. I think you definitely get more value out of anything you're doing when you're doing it for yourself and reaping those benefits yourself, right? Setting that goal within yourself. I mean, even when I set a goal and other people see me succeed, it never feels as good as me knowing how much work I put into something and then to finally succeed.
So that's what I've been doing in my life, but I know for you, being a stay-at-home mom, I go after work and I go to the gym and that's how I fit it in, but you probably have to fit in a different way.
Right.
So what are you doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, I used to go to the gym all the time. I loved it. I had a huge social circle at the gym, which was always really fun, and I liked doing weightlifting and working out. I do like to change it up all the time, kind of like you changed from kickboxing to weightlifting. Like I did a triathlon at one point. I did a bodybuilding competition at one point, which was extreme, but also very fun. And because I don't really have body issues and I never did, it didn't affect me mentally anyway, so that was good. Yeah, I did my triathlon, I did that. We biked across Canada, like that was a whole thing. I love setting new goals for myself. And since becoming a stay-at-home mom, I just cannot get to the gym. And it's been a huge switch. So I've been working out at home, and I was doing a boot camp that was run by a friend of mine, and a bunch of my friends went, and that was really fun because it was social too. And I went first thing in the morning before my husband went to work. But that was kind of the thing that made my back start hurting. And I would like take a break.
Yeah, it was just a bit too intense, right?
And heal my back, and then be like, okay, I'm good. And I'd go back, and it would hurt again. I did that like 3 times over, and finally I was like, I think I have to retire from this forever. So I'm actually in a bit of a limbo right now, where I'm having a hard time sticking to anything. Although I have been doing my like regular sports, like I've been curling, which is kind of active. And I've also been swimming.
That's super, super active. Do you get like 300 steps
actually,
when you curl or something?
You will be surprised because we tracked it on our Fitbits, and in one curling game, we walked 4.2 kilometers and burned 600 calories. I'm not joking. It was, I mean, we're sweeping, right? And so that's like pretty intense. I get really out of breath. Dad came and watched us at the beginning of the year, and he's like, you girls have to sweep harder. This is pathetic. And so then now we're like grinding it. If you have not heard of the sport of curling, it's kind of a big deal in Canada. We throw rocks down a sheet of ice, and you sweep them to make them go faster. Anyways.
And you're not necessarily breaking
okay, so
sweat.
the curling's not part of my workout, but it's also helping with social. And I've been swimming in the mornings with a friend. A couple mornings a week.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Really
I think that's awesome. Yeah, and swimming's something you can do forever. Like our great aunt swam until she was like 100 years old or something. A lot.
She was amazing. So I've been swimming, and that was also kind of like when my back started hurting. I was doing that, and I think exercise for me, like I always have to have kind of a goal or a thing to think about. But also, if I don't exercise in a day, my mood is just. I mean, it's not in the toilet, but it's just so much better if I do. I think completing these stress cycles through exercise is huge for me. So I'm really trying to find my next thing
I just feel
to
like
focus on.
Yeah, I think exercising just gives you that little pep in your step.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, you get
does.
that big hit of endorphins and adrenaline, and it's like you say, you drag yourself out of bed in the morning. It's the last thing you want to do, but at the end, you always feel amazing, or for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe with your sore back, I know this is something for me, like yoga is really important. I think for both of us, we struggle with any kind of like slow exercise. Well, flexibility, absolutely, but slow exercise. We don't have the attention. Like we're just two busy bodies. I think I just go to yoga and I'm looking around the whole time, thinking like, okay, like.
Well,
what's
I
next?
thought you went to yoga because we went to that yoga class in Costa Rica when we were traveling down there, and it was like this beautiful treetop yoga studio, and the rain was pouring. Remember, it was like a storm, and it was an hour long, and I was just like, when is this?
I feel like this was a dream. I don't remember.
You don't remember going to that class?
I remember I faked liking yoga for a really long time because I wanted to be the person. I wanted to be the person who went to yoga. I also faked liking hiking for a long time because I wanted to be like the girl who loved hiking. And then one day I was like, you know what? I don't like this at all. And I was online dating at the time, and on my likes, I like hiking and yoga, and I was like,
this is not me.
This is not true. I've even convinced myself I like these things, but I do not like either of those.
I mean, it's so true. Like how many exercise workouts we've drug ourselves to because it's the new thing, or it's the thing that so-and-so yada yada fitness person does. But what do you actually like doing? Because I'm not kidding you. If I dance in my living room with my kids for half an hour to 90s hits, which is their favorite and mine, and I have to carry them half the time because they like to be bounced around, it is better than pretty much any workout you can get.
Absolutely. And you know what you should try? My daughter's learning the Macarena at school right now, so we've been practicing. To do the Macarena, the entire song, my shoulders are burning. And I'm like, wow. And I said to our mom, I was like, have you ever done this for the whole song? It's quite intense. And she laughed.
I know you have to do it many times.
So
multiple
give that one
reps
a go.
Of Macarenaing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's, But yeah, like you said, there's always a new trend. There's always something. And we both like to switch things up. And I think, it can become, there's definitely that person out there that is completely happy just running. And that's
it's not
great.
Me.
But, for us, we like to try
mine's
new
definitely
things.
trying new things. It's so funny. I can't name down a specific thing, but I love setting goals and seeing them through. So it's always these obscure things that people always say to me you've done so many things. And I'm like, yeah. One time and then never again.
Yeah, walking 100,000 steps. You haven't mentioned that yet.
Oh, yeah, I did that 100,000 step day. I mean, it's just like an arbitrary goal. Fitbit gives out badges, and the biggest one is 100,000 steps in a single day. And I was like, all right, we're doing it. And I managed to recruit 5 other people to do it with me.
Poor them, yeah.
I know. One girl's feet didn't recover for like 4 months afterwards. She was like, I said to her the next year, I'm like, what do you think? Should we do it again? She goes, don't even talk to me.
Well, and we should talk about also kind of one of the things we do as a family and with our friends to kind of keep us motivated and accountable is we have they're like mini challenges, and we're kind of focusing more on like healthy lifestyle, like getting outside, getting some steps in, drinking water, getting our sleep, and we share our progress with people and we get like a certain amount of points. And I think that our switch away from weight loss competitions to more, healthy, active lifestyles is awesome.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because, we started the challenge last week. We do like 3 or 4 a year. And that was what triggered the idea to do this podcast. So I guess I forgot to mention it altogether. But yeah, it's meant to be based on consistency, because what I've learned through all of my multiple challenges and goal setting is that really it's more about just doing something small consistently versus, going all out and doing these giant workouts and your arms are so sore you can't move for a week. That's not going to make the big change. The big change is little habits daily, which really ties back into everything I work on my channel, which is daily habits and routines, and how doing a little bit when you can is going to make a bigger difference than doing nothing and then having to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to say this totally ties back into kind of everything you say and, don't do it all at once. That's not going to help you out. Very similar with fitness because, then you'll end up with a sore back. So I think they definitely tie into each other. I think being healthy and making that a priority will help your parenting, help your homemaking, be good for your relationship. So even though it seems like you're not getting ahead when you're at the gym because you're not doing laundry, you're not making dinner, you're not mopping the floor, but you're going to be in a lot better condition for doing those things and feeling happier if you can kind of make time for that. That's my opinion anyways. That's something that's really helped me. And, I had some insomnia for a couple of years there, and this is, a very important part of me kind of dealing with that as well. So
yeah, because it went away when we did our bike trip, which was biking every day for 100 days or so.
Yeah, it was excessive. Obviously, that's not really attainable all the time. And
no, but I took that
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about kind of working healthy living and healthy lifestyle. And we've been talking a lot about exercise. We haven't really touched on food, but I think kind of they all go together. But how are some ways that you can work healthy living into your daily life? I mean, you're busy. I'm busy. We're all busy. Well, we're maybe not busy. We're mostly scrolling on our phones, if you saw.
Right. As we figured out 2 weeks ago, we're actually not that busy.
Yeah, we have the time, but somehow we don't. How can you fit this stuff in, and how can you make it so you want to do it? So it's not another chore, and not another thing on your list that you're just like, oh, and I have to exercise today.
Yeah, and touching on diet and I shouldn't, the word diet just meaning, feeding myself healthy food is something I struggle with. I love carbs. I always just say there's gluten intolerant. I'm so gluten tolerant. It's crazy. Gluten and I really get along well together. So, it's something I constantly have to work on, just being active is the most important part.
Yeah. 4 dance parties a day, abs for life.
Listening to Macarena 12 times on repeat is a half an hour workout.
Sculpted shoulders. You're perfect.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we decided to discuss this. I know it's not exactly in the genre of homemaking, but on this podcast, we really wanted to explore kind of everything that affects us and other homemakers in their daily lives. And fitting in healthy living is a huge part of that.
Absolutely. And we'll kind of see as we put the podcast out what our listeners are enjoying listening to and maybe what they want to hear more of. We're just kind of still testing things out. So we're excited to hear what you guys think of this conversation today.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, we've got to also add in one thing that I know everyone likes to listen to.
Oh, your funny story. It's your turn. Yeah.
It's funny story time. Yeah. Okay, I came up with, I remembered a funny story, and it's health and fitness related. So I thought it was perfect. So when I was probably 24 years old, I got a hold of the Jillian Michaels of Biggest Loser fame, the Jillian Michaels Making the Cut fitness book. And this was the book that was going to just make you so lean and shredded, and you do these workouts and you be lean and shredded. And I was already going to the gym, and I was like, okay, great, I'm going to be lean and shredded. These workouts were insane. They were the world's hardest workouts I've ever done. And on top of that, some of the actual exercises themselves were completely bizarre. Like I remember being at the gym over in the ab area doing these like donkey kicks up from my hands or these weird frog squats. Like everything about these workouts were just like intense and bizarre, and I would be like laying on the floor panting and sweating everywhere, and like that was a show unto itself, and it was so difficult. I just couldn't even care what anybody thought, but I know people were looking because it was insane looking.
And so did you become shredded? Probably
no, I didn't become shredded. I couldn't even get past like 20 days. It was impossibly hard. But this particular story, I was doing one of these workouts, sweating everywhere, grunting, groaning, doing some donkey kicks on the floor, and I was like obviously just parched. So I go over and I grab my water bottle and just like chug it, slam back like half a bottle of water. And I'm panting and looking around and taking my break. And I put my water bottle down. I do the lid up. And then I turn around and there's my water bottle right beside where I was working out. I had drank out of someone else's water bottle. And he was watching me do it the whole time.
Did he say anything?
And I was like already making a scene with this insane workout I was doing. And I chugged this guy's bottle and then I see my own and I literally just stopped my workout right in the middle, picked up my own water bottle and walked out of the gym.
I can totally see you like picking it up like, yeah, you're looking at me. You're looking at those workouts like, I am insane. I'm getting shredded.
I know. He was staring and it was because I was chugging his water.
You shouldn't.
I just turned around and saw mine and like, I don't even know if I looked back. I just picked it up and kept leaving.
I feel like that makes it worse. He's probably like, in his head, he's probably like, that chick should probably stretch out of all those, after all those weird exercises.
And then I'm like, I can never come back at, 7 a.m.
Oh,
I cannot see this person again. Anyways, that was my funny story. I was like, just, so mortified. I couldn't even face the
How old
situation.
were you when this happened?
Like 24.
Okay, but think about if that happened now. I don't know about you, but I feel like that's how I would have reacted then, is just to like run away. Whereas now I've been like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I totally just like put my sweaty mouth all over your bottle. Do you think you would have?
I know, you totally own up to it. And it was like an Aquafina bottle, like a disposable water bottle, right?
Okay.
So like easy to be, I could have like replaced it or something. Or like filled it at, I don't know. I was just like mortified. I was already doing this like borderline ridiculous workout. I had to leave. I don't, that may have been the end of those workouts. I'm not sure.
That was it. That's all you needed to get off that plan. It's probably for the best.
I can't do this any longer. This is crazy. Anyway, I've got tears in my eyes.
Awesome,
That's it.
Steph. Good story today. A good podcast. I always like chatting. It's nice kind of having this hour to talk every week. So really enjoying it.
It's been great. All right, let us know in the comments if you have any show suggestions, and make sure to leave a review for our new podcast. We're super excited and we want to keep going. We're going to try and post every single week on Wednesdays. So let us know what you think.
We were a little too busy this week watching the entire season of Love is Blind, so we didn't quite get to it.
There was that.
And my priorities.
And I was sick.
Yeah. Okay.
And that.
Yeah, and that.
All right, Jill, I will talk to you soon.
Okay, see you later. Bye, everyone.